This is the journey from scratch to success.
Hello everyone, welcome to From Scratch to Success, where I interview the most successful entrepreneurs about their journey. My name is Jay Ma, your host. Today, I've got one of the most amazing guests with me, George Kapiniaris, one of Australia's most loved comedy, music, and TV stars. He co-created the cult hit Wogs Out of Work, then still sings as DJ in The Flying Doctor and Memo in Acropolis Now. On stage, he's played Frank Minaro Sr. in Saturday Night Fever, co-wrote and starred in Life of Byron, and scored a Green Room Award nomination for Oh, What a Night. He also played Goran in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Other plays include 12 Angry Men and The Irresistible Rise of Arturo Wee. On-screen credits include Alex and Eve, Big Mama's Boy, Fat Pizza, Underbelly, Offspring. Basically, if it's funny and Australian, George has done it. Please welcome George. Yay!
Hi, Jayma.
How are you?
Did I say your name properly, Jayma?
Yes, you did. Yes.
You said my name properly too, which I'm very excited about.
Thank you, George, because, all night I've been practicing, even in my sleep, because it's a Greek name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Greek. So you were going, Kapiniaris. That's what my wife sounded like 6 o'clock this morning. I had to turn on the soccer and watch the soccer.
Yes, I know you're so busy, and thank you for making the time for us. So,
Pleasure.
George, yes. Now, so tell me, how did everything begin, the origin story?
So I think where it started was I was a little boy and I was in Greece with my mother on holidays, and it was winter as well. And I remember being on this train. And mind you, when I went to Greece as a little boy, even though I spoke Australian when I was small, I on purposely didn't speak English for the whole trip. I tried to speak Greek for the whole time. And I remember being there on a carriage on the way from, it might have been Athens to Kalamata or Athens to Katerini, and we're traveling on the train. And there I was in the middle of the carriage entertaining a group of Greek people who I didn't know as a little Greek boy, telling stories and having them, and they were basically listening to me. They were all enthralled with what I had to say. So if I ever did the movie of my life, I put that scene in there in a black and white sort of color, just to give that effect, going through the snow on a train carriage and doing all that. But that's what it felt like. And I still remember it. I remember it as a dream, but yeah, it definitely did happen. Moving along, at primary school, I was always putting on the plays at school and organising that sort of thing. And then that went into high school. But then I was introduced to drama by a great teacher, Kate Donnellan. So drama sort of became my passion. I was really good at it. I wasn't that good at sport. I wasn't much of a handyman growing up, but drama was a natural thing for me. So eventually, when it came to choosing in year 12, drama was on the top of my list. Photography, film photography, TV, then design. But eventually I got my first option, which was study university. So I went to a place called Rusden, which is now called Deakin University, but then it was called Rusden. And I did a Bachelor of Education in Drama and Media Studies. But I also did dance while I was there too. And I did really well at dance, but I just didn't like walking around in a leotard. It was just a bit. I used to wear, I don't know if you remember Leroy from Fame, but he used to wear sort of shorts over his tights. That's what I used to do too, because I'm a big man.
Yes, I have some sort of memory of that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I got a bit of dance training too, which is really good for later on when I did musicals and what have you. And even in my comedy, I do a little bit of dance stuff as well. So It came in handy.
Yeah.
And growing up, I was always in a band. So, you know, at school, I had my own band. We put it together. We were called Sit. And later on,
Yes.
I had a band with my cousins. We were called the Clone
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers. Involved in drama, media, and good at teaching, and never at all. A friend of mine called on my final couple of years at Ruston, and we did a few plays together. And he said to me, "Hey, I've been doing stand-up comedy at all the comedy venues. Do you want to do like a double act?" Wow. We sort of had a double act called the Tibaldi Brothers, which were a couple of sort of Italian mafia types trying to sell test tube babies to people, you know, in the early days of IVF.
Yes.
So it was like a 5-minute routine in a show. And then we took those two characters and we put together a comedy show, which we did tryouts, you know, all the open mic sort of things. But within a couple of tryouts, someone had already offered us a 2-hour show at a restaurant called the Comedy Cafe. So we had to put together a 2-hour show, which was called Worry Beads and Fairy Dice. Because, you know, when we used to drive cars in those days in the 80s, we'd have worry beads and fairy dice hanging off the rear vision mirror. So that was the name of our first show. And the Tibaldi Brothers, we call ourselves the Tibaldi Brothers because there was a salami in those days which gave everybody salmonella poisoning, called the salami. Oh. But we changed the name a little bit so we wouldn't get sued. So instead of the Tibaldi, with a Tibaldi. So, and so we started doing stand-up, and then when we appeared in a couple of like shows, there was a show called Star Search, which was like a talent show, and there was different categories like dance, singing, and comedy, and we did really well in the comedy. So they asked us back a few times, and then eventually I started appearing, and I got into the grand final, but I didn't win the grand final because I ended up smashing a live fish on stage, and the guts went everywhere, and it was like a bit sort of stinky, you know. But because what would happen is I'd win, I'd have my set ready. I didn't think I'd win. I'd have my set ready, which is like a 3-minute routine, and then I'd win. Yeah. And then I'd have to write a new routine, which I didn't have. I wasn't really a stand-up comedian. I was more a character actor and performing as a musician, but I never really stand-up wasn't really my thing until later on. So I'd have to write a routine the next night, and I'd write it in my sleep.
Wow.
So I'd have a pad next to the bed, and then I'd go to sleep, then I'd wake up and write the next bit of the routine and then perform it, and then I'd win again.
Wow.
So, and this happened about 8 times.
Wow.
So until I got into the grand final, and then, you know, whatever that dream was about me smashing a fish wasn't a good idea. So anyway.
Wow. Okay.
So and that kind of set me up for stuff. And then I started with Simon. We started doing performances because of Star Search and a bit of TV exposure. We started performing in Sydney because we lived in Melbourne, in Adelaide, different parts of Australia, because we had a national following. Because then TV, everyone saw TV. They didn't have phones then. And watched, so if we were on Star Search, everyone would see us. If we were on Hey It's Saturday or the midday show, everyone would see us. So it was a great way to find exposure. So we started doing shows, and then while we were doing that, I got an actor's agent. Which is what I wanted to do, was become an actor, not a comedian.
That's right. Yeah.
So I got offered a whole lot of different TV show parts and what have you. And then I got offered a regular part in a show called The Flying Doctors.
Oh, yes.
Which is a famous TV show, which was not only famous in Australia, but all around the world.
Wow.
So, and that was with a company called Crawford's Productions, which is a very famous production company in those days. So because of that, and I was busy playing this character called the DJ in the Flying Doctors, Simon didn't have anyone to do the shows with, so he had to think of something to do on his own. So he teamed up with another young guy that was at Rusden, but also went to VCA because he got kicked out of Rusden for being a bad boy. But he went to the Victorian College of the Arts. So his name was Nick Giannopoulos. So they put together a show that we were all going to do called Wogs Out of Work, but I couldn't do it because I wasn't a wog out of work anymore. I was a wog in work. So
so true.
I was too busy.
Yeah.
So eventually they did this show, which went to the mainstream. They did the first Melbourne International Comedy Festival, and they were in a little theatre, and it was so successful that it just grew and grew and grew.
Wow.
You know? So from a tiny little theatre, the Universal 2, they ended up playing the Athenaeum, the Enmore Theatre, and all these big venues. So we were all pretty successful. They were doing their show, and I was doing my TV stuff. In the end, the guys said to me, "Hey, do you want to do some shows with us as well? Because sometimes, you know, we want to take some time off. Can you be like the understudy and fill in for us, for either of us, when we can't do it?" Because they trusted me and they knew that I knew the material, because half of our show was in Wogs Out of Work. So I did that, and then Crawford's came up to me because they went to see a performance of Wogs Out of Work. They didn't know why everyone was laughing, because they didn't really understand why, because they were all ethnic, laughing at ethnic jokes, but they knew it was successful. And they said to me, "Do you want to talk to the boys about putting together a TV show?" Which never happens. Like, it never happened. And we said, all right, we'll do, why don't we do a show? They wanted to do like a sketch show, you know, a bit like, you know, like Saturday Night Live, sort of different sketch. And we said, what about a sitcom like Happy Days or Cheers, or about, you know, three ethnic guys working in a cafe? And that's when we came up with the idea with Acropolis Now. They went, fantastic, let's do it. All right, go away and write it, and we'll start doing it. And we go, what? We're going to write for TV. We don't even know how to.
Wow.
We've never written for TV before. Like, what do we do? They go, don't worry, we'll give you the best story editors and script editors, which they did. Andrew Knight, who was like the best in the business at that time. And together we put together the first pilot of Acropolis Now, which is a show that we did for 5 years that that had us in it as our different characters. My character Mimo, and Ricky, Simon was a Spanish guy, Ricky, and Nick was a Greek guy whose dad owned the cafe, Jim. So they were the three characters. And then we got a guest character that came in that was very successful, which was Effie, which is Mary Custis's character. So that combination formed a really successful lineup, and we did that show for 5 years, and we did about 63 episodes, and still people love that show. And that show more or less set me up for life. So after that, you know, a lot of work I was getting is because of my success in the Flying Doctors and in Acropolis. So then I went on to do like proper theatre, because again, you know, you're a bit stupid when you're acting, because you want to do stuff for your credibility and you stop thinking about money. So I want to do serious plays and what have you. So I did a lot of that, and then I started getting into musical theatre. So I did a lot of you know, the Rocky Horror Show, Oh What a Night, A Return to the Forbidden Planet, just because I saw myself as a serious actor, or an actor, not a stand-up comedian.
That's right.
But after all that, after I got that out of my system, I realized that the easiest way to make money was to do stand-up, because it was a very popular form of performance, and you can basically produce yourself and control your business and make your own money that way. You didn't have to rely on production companies and what have you, or the phone ringing to do a job. So let's say I started off doing shows with Simon in 1986. We started, maybe even before then, 85, at the end of 85. I didn't really get serious about doing comedy until 2007, when we started
Oh,
working with Joe Vardy, who you
yes.
saw
Yeah.
with me in the Comedy Cartel. And Joe
Yes.
was a very successful stand-up comedian, famous all around the world.
Yes.
And just working with him, I saw how good he was on stage, and I thought I better pick up, I better
Mm.
pick up my game, because I'm not at the standard that he's at. So that's when I got serious about writing stand-up material. And since then, I've been more or less a stand-up comedian more than an actor. But again,
Mm.
I have been in musicals, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Yes.
through that, Nice Work If You Can Get It, playing a lead character in that. I just did
Mm.
Saturday Night Fever. I've just been cast to do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest
Mm-hmm.
with Jason Donovan and Nadine Garner, who are very famous actors, and the best director in Australia, Roger Hodgman. So I'm still doing serious performing or
Yes.
acting, but I'm
Yeah.
also doing my comedy. And recently we did a play that we wrote called The Life of Byron, which is a
Mm.
comedy but tragedy
Oh.
combination story. And that
Mm-hmm.
was, we got some amazing reviews for that. So hopefully we'll do more of those next year as well. So, after 40 years of being in this game, I'm still
Yes.
going strong. If you look at my diary, and I don't have an electronic diary, I have the old fashioned style. Look,
Wow.
chock-a-block.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So I can't fit anything in. So I'm saying no to everyone
Yeah.
at the moment. So
Mm.
can't complain. And the thing is
Wow.
that a year ago I had open heart surgery. I could have died
Yes.
if I didn't find it in time. I could have died
Mm.
this time last year. So I'm blessed. I'm being looked after by something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody likes me up there or around
Mm-hmm.
me or whatever
Yes.
you believe in. But I'm definitely being looked after.
Wow. George, is so inspiring because you are just talented in everything. And I want to ask you, was there any early challenges or doubt that you faced?
Look, every time I do something new, there's a challenge. Sometimes I go, how am I going to do this? Like, how am
Mm-hmm.
I going to, and being nervous is a really good thing, because if you're not nervous, you become complacent. You
That's
don't
right.
give it a,
Mm-hmm.
you don't give it a really good try because you're too
Mm.
confident. So I like being nervous. I like being challenged, and I like doing different things. And without that feeling, sometimes you fail. So I actually don't mind the challenges and trying new things. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been lucky with work. I've been lucky because sometimes when my diary is empty, something comes along to fill up that gap.
Mm.
And I've
Mm-hmm.
been lucky. I do a lot of cruise ships as well.
Yes.
So, you know, if there's any gaps, I'll do comedy on some cruise ships and what have you. But there's always work there for me. You know,
Mm. Yeah.
I don't want
Now,
I'm
mm,
getting so I don't jinx myself. But at the
mm.
moment, things are going really good. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, no, it's so good to hear like it's been steady for you with work and everything. And I mean, you are one of the most loved, person in Australia. Um, yeah, have you always known that that's what you want to do? Like, what's like an inspiration or what inspired you when you were little George?
Well, with like I said before, with athletes, they have this ability to be strong, fast, skillful, eye to feet to arms coordination, whatever. With me, it was
Mm-hmm.
performing. I
Mm,
was built to do this sort of a job.
yes.
It comes naturally to me. When I was growing up, I wanted to be an architect. I didn't want to be
Really?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
wow.
wouldn't mind being an architect. That's what I wanted
Yes,
to be.
yes. Okay.
But fate or whatever, the universe directed me in this way, in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm really good at. This,
Mm,
and I've been lucky, and I've been looked after, and I've been, and lucky. I had parents that were happy for me to do because they knew that I was made for this sort of thing. And my dad was a little bit of a stand-up comedian too. Not that he did
yes.
stand up, but at every
Yeah.
party he'd be the one doing all the jokes. you know, at the front of the table while everyone's laughing. So, you know, I did probably inherit my funny bones from my dad, but he
Yes.
grew up in a poor world, you know, a poor country. He came to Australia, had to work hard with my mum. He couldn't do stand up and film and what have you. He always had a movie camera. Like if you look behind me, I've still got his, you know, his little cameras and stuff that he used to have. So he always used to make movies and what have you. So that was always around us, but he wasn't born in the right time to reap the benefits. I'm lucky because I was. So, you know, I count myself lucky, and I'm still going. You know, I've been doing it for 40 years plus.
Wow. So it sounds like your dad had such a big influence for you, right?
Yeah, he was always there, and they were happy for me to do what I did. They knew that was me. That was me. And then my partner, you know, my wife, she's, you know, every now and then she has a bit of a whinge. What? You have to go again, or you know, or our son's got his, you know, valedictory. You got to be there. But well, I've got to play. You know, sometimes, and it's hard being the partner of a person that's in show business, because you lose your weekends, you lose your, you know, because that's when we work, is mostly the weekends. But you know what? She's been great, and she's been really helpful when it comes to that sort of stuff, you know. And my boys, you know, there's once my son, because in 2013 I was doing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, so that was 2 years straight. And then the time that I had off, I did a tour with Joe Hardy and Tahir and a guy from America, Basil. And that's the only time you ever come. He goes, Dad, remember that year when you weren't even home? You know, he told me as a little kid. So, so look, I try, when I'm back home, I try and be as helpful as I can with my family, my kids, my wife. But again, you know, what do? You can't give up everything if it's your natural ability.
Yeah, definitely. Now, George, you had so many success by everything that we've just discussed. Do you remember your first success, like, and how did it make you feel?
So the first success would have been, and again, I had a conversation with my dad. I remember he said to me, why don't you get a real job, like do a real thing, you know, at one stage. But then when the success started coming, he was almost like my publicist. He'd be giving away business cards, and because he was a printer. So, so he was doing all that stuff for me. So I can't even remember my first success. I can't even, like, it could have been me, you know, playing, you know, the Artful Dodger in a play at, you know, year 11. It could have been before then doing, when was my first success? I couldn't even tell you. It's that long ago. Maybe the first time I was on TV, I don't know. It might have been being on Star Search. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. It's all a blur to me.
Wow. And I think that in itself, it's a success, because it's just been so many success moments for you and George, you know, it's wonderful.
Someone said to me, and this was Simon, who I used to do the shows with. He said to me, he sent me a message the other day. He goes, remember when we did that shopping centre and we were like the Beatles? And there was people all over the shopping centre there to see us, and we were on stage, and then they followed us, and then we got into the limousine. There was people. It was like a scene out of a, you know, like a famous rock star movie, and there was people out front around the car. You know, we're driving out. So that was probably the closest to being like feeling famous. Because it was just crazy. It was just crazy day. High Point Shopping Centre. I think in Essendon. But look, I've performed in front of, you know, thousands of people, which is amazing. But I prefer performing in front of 100 people more than 1,000 people.
Okay.
Because with 100 people, you connect to the whole crowd. With 1,000 people, it's just the floor.
That's so true.
So, and I get more nervous performing in front of 20 people, 50 people, 100 people than I do 5,000 people.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is strange, isn't it? But yeah, I do.
For
I still
sure.
do.
Wow. No, I think with everything that you're doing, it truly connects people together with storytelling, with stand up, with, all the comedy stuff. So I think that's probably why you prefer like an intimate audience, I feel.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Because it is storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we do, because stand up is storytelling.
Exactly. Now, George, was there anything that you learned the hard way, like any lessons you learned the hard way, and how did you overcome that?
It's good to have some failures because you learn from failure. The worst type of gig for me to do is a corporate gig. I can't stand it.
Yes.
Because people aren't there to have a good time. People are there because they have to be there. So, and they're afraid to laugh sometimes because they're worried about what the boss is thinking. And the bosses are worried about having a good time because they don't want to seem weak. So I just can't stand them. Like, I'd rather not do them. But they pay really well, so you can't say no. But I can't stand them. I prefer doing weddings, like emceeing weddings, because it's a joyous occasion. People are there to have fun. And I prefer doing shows when people have come to see me. So instead of doing like a stand-up show, for the comedy festival when you're on, people aren't really into you. You need some sort of connection with the crowd. So you need your crowd. And they're the best kind of shows. And when we were shooting Acropolis Now, we used to shoot it in front of a live studio audience. So we'd practice for a week, the script. And then we'd get about 400 or 500 people. I don't know. A lot of people. There was a lot of people there. And they'd be watching the show and laughing as we were doing the show. And in between the takes, we'd interact with the crowd and play up. And that was a lot of fun too, because that was almost like playing, how a soccer team plays in front of their home crowd, their home stage. That's what it was like.
Yes.
So we had people chanting, "Shoot goal," if we made a mistake, or they loved us, So they're the great moments. But just doing those gigs which are just terrible. But you know what? And sometimes you might do a crowd where there's no Greeks, Italians, no ethnics at all, and they just don't get it. And you might fail because they just don't relate to you at all.
Yes.
They're the ones you should do a lot of, because that's where you learn how to be funny to a crowd that's not into you. So it's actually, even though it's a terrible gig, they're the ones you should do.
Wow.
Because you learn, all right, on the cruise ships is a great challenge, because, sometimes you get crowds that know you. Sometimes you get crowds with no idea. Like the last cruise ship I did, most of the crowd was from New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
So I really worked out what was funny and what wasn't funny in my routine.
Yes.
Because that crowd wasn't biased at all. They didn't know who I was. So it was a really good lesson for me. And I did well. The first show was really good. Second show was okay. And the third show was okay. But why was it okay? Because there was a lot of Australianisms that they didn't understand. So you have to adjust and get away from your comfort zone and really think about what you're doing before you. The one challenge for me is to perform more overseas, which I haven't done.
Yes.
And I should. So, and I'm thinking, am I too old to do it? Maybe I'm not. So I think that's my next challenge, will be to perform overseas.
Definitely not too old. Yeah, I think you can still, I feel like you can definitely do that, like around the world, and for sure.
I'd really like to tell the show that we did, the theatre show that we just did, The Life of Byron, or whatever we're going to call it. We should do overseas, definitely. And also, even Nonna and Yaya live on stage is a really fun show. And I mean, if Sushi Mango are doing their shows overseas and doing well, our show would do really well too, because it's
Yeah.
similar. Even it offers even a bit more because there's stand up as well as sketches and comedy. So we'll see. I'm about to sell it to New Zealand. I might try and sell it overseas if I can. If anyone's listening, give me a call.
Yes. Call George.
Call George.
Call
Kapiniaris.
George.
Kapiniaris.
That's
Like
right. Yeah. Kapiniaris. You know,
you say it different to me. Kapiniaris, like I don't care.
yeah.
Kapiniaris.
I had to.
I know you care because you wouldn't be talking to me if you didn't care.
I can. I had to remember as like Yaris. Like Toyota Yaris, like boom boom.
That's
like
right.
The car. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
that's
a cat
how I.
in a Yaris.
That's it. Kapiniaris. Yeah.
Some people call me cap in your ass. Put a cap in your ass.
So funny. George, I want to dive into something. So you said you openly said you had an open heart surgery. Can you just sort of tell us a little bit more about that and just the resilience and everything that sort of got you through? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, that was a scary time, and I was working on the cruise ships. I had 4 weeks in a row, and it was sort of lucky. Again, it was fate that kind of made me understand that I wasn't well. And on the cruise ships, there's no distractions, so you're listening to your body a lot more. And I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And then on the last week, and I was with Tahir that week. We were leaving Auckland and sailing to Sydney, and my heart rate was just going up, just incredibly fast.
Wow.
So, and then I was on the ship and I had like this pizza with quattro formaggio, which is like 4 cheeses, so extra salty, extra cheesy, and my heart just started going bang like that.
Wow.
And luckily on the cruise ships, there's a medical centre. So I went downstairs and they did tests. And they said, you're not having a heart attack. We've done a blood test, but we suggest you don't do any more shows this week. And when you get back to Australia, you go see a cardiologist because we can't book you unless you've got clearance. Went to the cardiologist. The first question cardiologist asked me was, has anyone died in your family from a heart attack? I go, yeah, my dad. I went, right. Okay, let's do some tests. We did the tests, and lo and behold, they found that my aorta was all swollen up and inflamed and needed replacing. So I had to do a massive surgery, and also the aortic valve was leaking a bit, and they were going to replace it, but luckily they fixed it, which would have been a tougher surgery. But a year later, I'm eating pizza with 4 cheeses again. Which, look, I've learned some good habits. So after this chat, I'll be going for a long walk. I'll be eating some fruit. I have veggies now, which I never used to have. So So it's about being healthy, and that's what after the surgery they taught us, that you do have to exercise. These are the secrets to having a good heart. Exercise.
Yes.
Don't drink. Don't smoke.
Okay. Yep.
Try and eat less salt, less sugar.
Yes.
Healthier food. Read the packets.
Yes.
There's some things I've given up, like I don't drink soft drinks like I used to, like Coca-Colas and what have you. I don't drink. Yeah, if I drink alcohol, I'll drink a beer because I think a beer is less harmful than a Coca-Cola, let's say. And I might have half a beer just to join in, but I don't miss it at all. It's not even I was never a drinker anyway. The one that got me was coffee. I was really worried at the start. But no, coffee's fine as long as you're on top of everything. You can have a couple of and you listen to your body. I've learned how to listen to my body. If I have the wrong thing, I can feel my heart racing, and I don't need to look at my watch anymore. I can feel it racing, so I control that and calm myself down.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And it's good to hear that you are now keeping healthy and still.
Look, I do a routine in the show. When you saw it, I did that routine, and every show someone came up to me, or not one person, a few people sometimes. Hey, we went through heart surgery too. Well done. We're
Wow.
really proud of you. You're an inspiration being up there and talking about it. So it's good to share the word, you know, to
Yeah.
tell people this is what I've been through. Be careful. This is what you know, look at. If in doubt, check it out. All that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Now,
Because we
George,
have a role as stand-up comedians, not only to be funny, but to
yes,
send a message, you know. Hopefully it's a
yeah,
good message.
yes.
But because we've got the microphone, we've got the power to do that. You know.
That's so true. And I think with the world that we're living now, we really need to send that positive, you know, that good energy and share something of a light. Yeah, for sure.
And the
Yeah.
audience will let you know if you're saying the wrong thing. They'll let you know. They go, they'll
For
let you
sure.
know.
Yeah. Now, George, I want to ask you, how do you, you know, overcome like fear or criticism? Like, has there any moments that you sort of face that? Like, how would you give, you know, suggestions to people that's doing something they love, but they sometimes really doubt themselves? How do you overcome that?
I think just push on, you know. Sometimes people are critical because they're jealous. Sometimes they're critical because they don't believe in your agenda or what have you. But you know what? Whether it's a review or someone says a comment, now with comments, I just go delete. About it.
Yeah.
If you stew over a comment, it's not a good thing. Just what? Delete. Because you don't know who they are. They could be some psycho or someone that's jealous or someone that's competing with you, or you know, they just get out of my life.
Yeah.
You'll know. The audience will tell you if you're doing the right thing. If they're laughing or enjoying it, you can tell. If they're not enjoying it, you can tell. But I wouldn't listen to the rubbish, because there's a lot of rubbish. Because of social media, there's a lot of rubbish out there. So don't listen to it. Yeah, and as an audience member, you got a choice. If you don't like something, walk out.
That's true. That's right. You don't have to be there.
Create dramas. Just walk out. We'll be happy. We'd rather have you leave. There was one show I was doing at I think it was Smithfield RSL, and there's a couple in front of me, and they were distracted. I go, "You guys okay?" And they're going, "Oh yeah, our uncle just died."
Oh.
I go, "Right, okay. Well, do you want to go and sort it out? And you know, you don't have to stay." They go, "No, we want to see the show." And they're in the front row, and then they kept on their phone, and then sort of 5 minutes later, they go, "Hey, are you sure you're all right, guys? You're good?" They go, "Oh, we're just organising funeral arrangements." I go, "Well, maybe it's better that you leave." They didn't leave.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They just want to stay on and watch you, George. You know.
And you know, these days, people, you know, this is what it's like in 2026. The people watch TV and they're on their phones.
Yes.
And they're doing 5 things at once. Whereas once upon a time, you used to watch TV. Or you'd be on your phone. But these days, so there's some bad habits, you know. You can't go and see a show and be on your phone at the same time.
No, that's right.
It's kind of, it's rude. For one thing, it's rude. It's like talking over people while they're trying to do a show.
Yeah, that's right. George, now this next round, it's going to be a quick, engaging round. So short answers. Are we ready?
It's good because I'm short.
Okay. A book or a podcast that changed your thinking?
I think book.
Yeah?
Book.
Okay. Do you remember which book?
It depends. Any book. But I you know, I'm not a big book reader, but I love biographies. My favorite is Keith Richards' biography. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think books for me. Books. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not really a podcast guy.
Yeah.
I'll listen to them, but I'm not really into them.
Into it. Yeah. But you have to listen to this one.
I'll listen to your podcast. We got a podcast coming up soon too, so I shouldn't say that. It's going to be called Supes Mupes.
Oh, what's it called?
Yeah. So Supes Mupes, but I call it Supes Mupes. It's a great Aussie style diasporic. Yeah.
Love that.
So,
best advice you've ever received?
Don't be up yourself and don't be rude to co-workers.
Good. What's one thing you wish you've done differently?
I wish I'd gone overseas earlier to perform. I think, but because I was so busy, I didn't. And that's one sort of regret I have in my business.
Okay. And if you were to lose everything tomorrow, what would be your first move, George?
Just start again. Because I can always start again. I just get up on stage and do a show.
That's it. So what's next for you, George?
We're lucky. I don't know about you, but I can imagine, from an ethnic background, we're lucky because we always have family support. So I know my family would always be behind me. And I remember with the surgery, I had health cover, but I didn't have enough cover for the operation. And so they rang 2 days before the surgery and they said, oh, if you're going to go private, can you bring $100,000 this week to pay for the surgery? And I've gone like, what, $100,000? Yeah, you have to bring it this week. Wow. And then I talked to my cardiologist and he said, stuff them, just go public. It's the same. It's basically the same surgeon and the same. So it's funny but the good thing is, I had my family going, if you need the money, we'll lend you the money and all that sort of stuff. So family's great. For my situation, family's been great.
I love that. So George, what's next for you now?
So next year will be, next, when does next start? So now I'm doing Nona and Yaya live on stage.
Yes.
All over Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane, Townsville, Canberra, Cairns. We're going all over Australia. We're doing some even New Zealand next year. Then I'm doing the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest play. So that's in October to December. Then after that, we're doing hopefully The Life of Byron. We're going to tour that around Australia, and hopefully we can do that overseas, fingers crossed. We've got lots of comedy shows coming up too. There's a couple of this year there's a couple of comedy extravaganzas that I'm doing with James Liotta and with Ivan Aristegueta. He's got a hard name. I don't know. Aristegueta. Ivan. Anyway, he's from Venezuela. But a bunch of comedians. So that'll be fun. We're doing a few of those.
Yes.
Yes. And then next year as well, on top of that, we're doing more Big Fat Greek shows. So we're calling it Oppa Big Fat Greek Show. So that's like music and comedy. So I'll be playing music and doing comedy. And then also at the end of the year, we're going to be doing the Jet Ski Boys with Tahir and James. So that's another stand-up tour.
Wow. Yes.
So there's that. I just missed out on a movie with Russell Crowe because I was too busy.
Oh no!
So that was being shot in Spain, so I couldn't go because I had too much on.
Wow!
So hopefully I get called up for another movie sometime soon. But that's this. Like I said, the universe has opened up. God's helped me, or whoever's helped me. But things are looking good at the moment.
That's good. Well, praise God. And so last question for you there, George. What advice will you give someone if they have a dream but they're just too afraid to start? Like what would you say to them?
Don't be afraid. If that's if you want to be a Hollywood movie star, that's a bit of a reach, But if you want to be a comedian, you can do an open night anytime you want this week and jump up on a Tuesday at some comedy club and do that. So if you think you can do that, try it. You don't know unless you try. You want to be a singer? Learn how to sing, play an instrument and sing. In this world that we're living now, you can put anything on Instagram, on social media and show people what you do. And if you're popular enough, look at Sushi Mango. They weren't even trained actors or, but they just started working together, putting stuff on social media, and they got a great response. So, and they're living off that. It's fantastic. It's a great story. I wish I thought of that. And the same with Joe Vardy. Joe Vardy was just a guy who was a food technician,
Mm-hmm.
studying food tech and working in the business. And then he just did a bit of stand-up on the side. And then he got popular and he started doing weddings and what have you. And then he put his stuff before, when internet was really the early days, he put his stuff online. And
Wow.
they discovered him in Canada, and he didn't sell
Wow.
out one show. He sold out 20 shows in a row in
Wow.
one night.
Wow.
So it's just hitting that nerve at the right time, being in the right place, getting that idea. And if you don't have the balls to do it, you'll never find out. So if you want to give it a go, this is the right time for everybody.
Love it. I love that. Well, and how does listeners get contact with you? Your socials, yeah.
So Instagram, my name, George Kapiniaris, same with Facebook. And I've got a website, georgekapiniaris.com. But the best way is through Instagram, and you can send a message, and I can, if you want to, if you want me to do a function for you, or MC a wedding, or do a show for you, or if you want to book our shows, you're interested in Nona Yaya live on stage, or the Life of Byron, or anything, just shoot me a message.
Yeah, I love that. George, I want to say I can't wait for you to be on my wedding. I just need to find a husband first.
I found one for you, and he's here. Don't be shy.
You're so funny. Oh, you're hilarious. It's okay.
Come over and say hello. No, he doesn't want to come.
It's so good. It's too funny.
He's beautiful.
Well,
I've seen her. He hasn't even seen your face. Look. So he likes you. He said you're nice.
This is like a live matching right now by George. I don't know who you're talking about, but if it's from you, I'll say yes to that.
No, okay, I'll start looking for you. What are you looking for? What type? You're looking blonde, brunette, Asian, European, Anglo,
I think
African.
I think like race or anything like that doesn't really matter, but family value is so important, and also someone that loves God. Basically.
Look, my wife said I was the perfect match for her, because she's a Sydney girl. I met her in Sydney.
Wow.
Because the thing that won her over is how I was with my nephews and how I was with kids. And she went, this would be the perfect partner, the perfect dad for my children, and that's what won her over in the end, was that.
I love that.
Plus, I'm very sexy. Very sexy.
Well, definitely that part, but I can't really say that because but yes, definitely. So George, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and to have this wonderful chat. Really truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you again very soon.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you in person next time.
Yes.
And,
yes.
We'll see you soon, and good luck with your endeavors. I know you're doing some stand-up now, so hopefully you do really well. And it's a good time for girls to do stand-up, because there's not as many girls as there are guys, so keep it up.
I love that. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode of From Scratch to Success. I truly feel so inspired by George, and make sure you follow us, and I'll see you on the next episode. God bless you.
Yasu.